Alrighty, it is time. We are back for some more fast gaming charity action. I am joined by IllegallySam, who will be on the A's and B's, the ones and twos, the X's and Y's, whatever buttons are being hit here, racing. And I'll let them introduce their commentator and what they'll be running and get us underway.
Yes, my buttons are going to be, normal Xbox buttons, but hello, I'm IllegallySam. I'm going to be running the Levelhead community campaign for you here today, and I am joined by my commentator, Mayo, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, yeah, I'm Maui. We are both longtime members of the Levelhead community, and I'm just here because I know a thing or two about this community campaign.
Yep, you may or may not see his name a couple times in the levels that you'll be seeing here today, because for anybody not aware, the Levelhead community campaign is exactly what it sounds like. It's a community campaign. It was a campaign of levels that was put together by many different members of the community. So there's, all in all in the campaign, there's, I think, 52 levels total by over 30 creators, and the 80% run will not be seeing all of the levels. There's only going to be 37 levels from the campaign here today, but you'll still be seeing a lot of different levels by a lot of different community members.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
All right. And so, like I said, may or may not see a familiar name, but I figure we can just go ahead and get started, and we'll talk more about it as we go along. So I'll give a countdown. We can just go ahead and get going. So let's start in 3, 2, 1. Let's get going. All right. So this is the Levelhead community campaign. For anybody not aware, the Levelhead has a regular campaign that everybody can play whenever they want to. But the community campaign was kind of made as a sort of sequel to it in terms of like the level of difficulty and what to expect from it in terms of content. And so
maybe should I first give sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine.
Should we maybe give an overview of the game itself? Like, I don't think most people know what Levelhead is, right?
Nah, everybody knows it. They've seen me speedrun it before, right? I'm sure everybody has seen this game thousands of times by now, because of me specifically.
Okay.
No, Levelhead is a. You might have gathered there is a big level creation aspect to this game, and that is this game's main draw to fame, because this is a 2D platformer. It's an indie game, but it has a very robust level editor, and therefore has a huge level creation focus as well.
Exactly. Yeah, of course, that means people will compare it to Mario Maker or other more popular games, maker games as they call them. But yeah, I think this game in particular stands out the way it allows you to creatively make new levels, and that is exactly what we've done for this community campaign. 52 of them in a huge community effort, and in every level, as you can see, the level creator is also visible.
Yes, there is.
Credited.
There is actually 2 versions of the community campaign as far as the speedrun goes, and also if you want to play it casually. There is the version that I'm playing, which is the version that is available on all of the different platforms, because this is the version that uses levels that were just simply uploaded to the game's servers. And, they're organized in a playlist, so you can just play them all in a row. And if you do that, there is a website that is set up. Come on. Okay. That hole was not cooperating. There is a website set up that lets you track your progress, but there is also a version of the campaign that you can only do on PC because it's a mod where it replaces the game's original campaign with the community campaign. You can play through them all as if it was set up the same as the game's regular campaign, which is a fun alternative.
Yeah, it also features an overworld map that looks pretty similar to the unmodded campaign. But unfortunately, we won't be able to show that here because Sam is playing on, what was it, Xbox?
Yes, I am playing the Xbox version of the game. So
yeah, and that's why.
Yeah, while you won't be able to,
you will only see the online versions.
Yeah, you won't be able to see the mod, but the fact that the campaign is still available on all platforms, even if it's not in, the mod form, you know, you can still play it on any platform, which I think is still a very fun aspect of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the order of the levels in the campaign are based off of that map in the mod, and that map is also featured on the website that you can use to keep track of your progress, so the order is not arbitrary, but because it's all set up in a playlist, you know, you don't really get to see the full aspect of why the order is the way it is. Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, these batteries are
Like
not cooperating.
the first... Yeah, and I don't think it's about the batteries, it's more about the punchers and their weird hitbox, right?
I blame the batteries.
There's the batteries, okay.
Yeah, this level, it has like a whole gimmick where you're supposed to put the punchers in the right spot, then launch the batteries, and the batteries will end up where they need to. And in order to do it fast, you need to put the punchers in very specific spots, but if they're slightly off, they can sometimes just not cooperate and things won't go where they need to, which makes speedrunning that level pretty difficult and just requires memorizing the exact positions.
Oh yeah.
Alright. And then something else about this game is that it's a platformer. We got a lot of power-ups. Almost every single power-up in the game is introduced through the regular campaign, so the community campaign starts off with the assumption that you know what they all are. But if you've never seen this game before, you might not know what they all are, so I will still try to explain them as they show up, as best as I can, and this is the zipper. This is the power-up that lets you teleport through walls, where if you hit the power-up button, it zips you forward slightly. And, you know, you can use that to do fun platforming challenges, and also just move forward slightly faster.
Yeah, there are exceptions. You can't zip through walls thicker than 3 tiles, and LED blocks, the dark LED-like blocks, they will also block it.
And also, just because these are
And this
community...
level here has an interesting skip.
Yeah, just because these are community-made levels doesn't mean we don't cheese them. Because we just skipped the entire level by damage boosting through that little firewall there. This is normally a much longer level, like 40 plus seconds, and we finish it in less than 20. Because as you can see, the third place time on the level is 41 seconds. Alright.
Next power up is Rebound. It's the design is not that straightforward. It makes you shoot part of yourself. I think GR18's the robot character's face, and then you use the recoil to launch yourself to different places, as you can see.
Yeah, and in addition to the projectiles launching you backwards, the projectiles also damage enemies, they also press switches, and you can also bounce off of them. So they give a lot of utility, which is fun. Alright, these enemies are not cooperating. Unfortunate. That's fine. I only have to kill 3 of them there, but because the specific enemy types teleport, it makes it a little tricky to track them down if you don't get them immediately. Alright. And there's even a little bit of cheese at the end here as well, if I do it correctly. With a pixel jump. Oh, okay, I did the pixel jump, I just moved into the spike by accident immediately afterwards. That's fine. I'm still gonna do it, because it's cool. Yeah, that's a pixel jump. Basically, obstacles in this game don't take up a full tile, and therefore there's a little bit of a gap next to them where you can stand on the tile below them. And what I did there was an assisted pixel jump, where you can basically just tap ever so slightly after rubbing against the wall, and you'll end up on the correct spot every single time if you do it correctly. And you don't have to, like, try and suss out exactly where that pixel is every single time. While this level has...
Now we're looking at the tiptoe power-up, also called the ninja power-up. It allows for wall climbing or wall jumps and climbing on the ceiling, and you can go, you can turn into a bush that allows you to bypass enemies like those little crumbler walls.
Yeah, and that level's also
the orange walls that you just pushed through.
A great example of this is a community campaign. What's a series of community levels without some Kaizo stuff? So there's not too many Kaizo levels throughout the campaign, or levels that are Kaizo-ish, but there are a good handful.
And they will mostly show up in the second half.
Yes, because, you know, difficulty progression is a thing. As we go further along, things will get harder.
Yeah, the campaign is split into 4 chapters with different regional themes. In the overworld map, it's pretty clear which chapter starts where, but you can't see that in the playlist format, unfortunately. Still, there will be a boss fight at the end of each chapter, and we're getting pretty close to this one boss fight. I think it's 3 levels from now.
Alright, and I did cheese the end of this level. You're supposed to use that battery to turn on a bunch of cannons, and then you're supposed to use those projectiles to get up those switches, but by doing some fancy movement with those bumpers, you can kind of just not do that and do something that's faster instead.
I remember.
I'm going to jump in here real quick. We have a new milestone that has opened up. So if we hit a total of $3,500 in donations for Blue Path, we will unlock a bonus game, which is Played Up with featuring the Multithon staff. And I'm gonna read this quote word for word. This is Multithon. We know you came here for chaos. What's more chaotic than 4 to 5 idiots playing Played Up? So with your donations, we can see that chaos in action.
I'm a little annoyed. I died to literally the last enemy. That's fine. Now I get to do this level again, and better this time.
Oh, checkpoints here.
Yeah, this level is tricky because it's it's kind of like the first difficulty spike of the campaign, because it's a level where you have to fight a whole bunch of enemies and there's no checkpoints. So depending on how good you are at fighting enemies with the Waylay power-up, which is the power-up I'm using right here, and also how good your platforming skills are, this level can be very difficult.
Yeah. Turns out making an even difficulty curve with about 52 levels is also difficult in itself.
Alright, but this is the first
Mistakes
boss.
were made.
This is the Peanut of Doom. It's a minute-long autoscroller. It's a cool level, but it's not too interesting as a speedrun, unfortunately.
Technically, you can do a bit of skipping, but it's very difficult and very risky.
Yeah, there is, like, you can save a couple seconds near the end, but if you mess it up and die, you have to redo the entire minute-long autoscroller, so just take the 2 seconds of time loss most of the time. It's not worth it.
Or jump on top of those projectiles, but still not worth the risk.
I mean, yeah, since the, like, limbs are on cycles, it's like there's only so much you can do to save time in these segments.
Well, then I'm going to jump in real quick because I have another announcement. We've opened up a bid war for the upcoming Windblown run, where we're going to choose the 3 characters, the top 3 that our leapers will be playing for the upcoming Windblown run. These characters all control the same and have the same stats, so we've got nothing to lose by voting for our favorite animal. And I'm seeing an Atoxel, a pangolin, a bat, a Project 2501. I don't know what that is, but I'm interested. A toad and a basilisk. So yes, get those donations in and vote for your favorite critter, and we will be seeing that in a couple of runs.
Alright, and a fun thing about this level, the regular games campaign features all of the content that was in the game at launch, but there was a content update for the game post-launch. And so everything in that post-launch update wasn't featured in the regular campaign. Like, do you know where we can feature that stuff? The community campaign. And so this power-up here, this is the Shade. This is the one power-up that was added in the post-launch content update. And so that last level was kind of like tutorializing it. Because the whole gimmick with the Shade is that you can put down a rune, and then you can teleport to that rune. And in addition to that, you can also pick up the rune and carry it around and throw it and stuff. So there's a whole lot of utility and fun gimmicks that you can use this power-up for.
Yeah, for example, this level showcases keeping your momentum during teleportation. Because you can throw the rune, get into a blaster, get blasted outside the blaster, and then you will keep your momentum and reach new places.
Or old places if you blast yourself into a spike and die and respawn.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, so far it's going well, I suppose.
Yeah, there is a funny little like quirk to running specifically this version of these levels, and that is that leaderboard at the end of every single stage. So what happens is, if you were to finish a level and get a top 3 time, it plays a little animation. You know, it shows, oh hey, good job, you got a top 3 time on this level. And then we're going to show you getting your score up on the leaderboard here. But that's actually not good, because that little animation wastes time. So technically speaking, it is optimal to go ahead and, ahead of time, get good times on every single level that you won't beat during a run, and then you never have to worry about that animation playing.
Yeah, that's why you grinded or ground a lot of those levels to get the optimal time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
1
didn't
year ago.
specifically do it for that reason. I also just did it because I was practicing and trying to get good times anyway. But that's a nice little benefit. Right, this part here is really annoying, because these enemies are very hard to predict. And depending on how fast you get here, the cycles are completely different. And so I took more time to get to that point than I would have liked, and that made the cycles way different than usual. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this is a level that will feature another aspect of the Void content update that, you know, was not in the base game's campaign, and that is a specific enemy type that was not available until it was released post-launch.
Which is, actually it's 3 variants of the same enemy. They're called Jabber, Mad Jabber, and Jibber. And so far you've seen 2 of these. The Jibber is the bigger one. I don't think those details matter, but yeah. They've, almost all enemies and items in this game have really funny names. And the Jabbers and Jibbers, they will chase you once they spawn and you get close to them. But you can, if you time it right,
Yes.
you can kill them with those green fires.
Yeah, this level it's a fun one, but it is very annoying to speedrun, because depending on how fast you go, these enemies will end up in different spots and then chase you down and stuff like that. So it's like, technically, if you wanted to go as fast as possible, you wouldn't be killing them at all. But obviously this level's hard enough when you are killing them. And so if you don't kill them and you have to worry about dodging them for the rest of the level, it is a struggle at times. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, as long as that one from above doesn't come out of nowhere with the steel chair and ruin my day. Okay, that's good enough. I can make this work.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, because as you can see in this section, if I had to deal with like an extra 10 of these guys, how that would be problematic.
Mm-hmm. Well, there will be more than 10 now.
That's why I said an extra 10.
Yeah. It's kind of cinematic how how you get chased by a huge swarm of jabbers in this level, which makes it one of my favorites of the campaign.
Yeah, like I said, it is a fun level. It's just speedrunning it is kind of annoying at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we tried to make the levels speedrun friendly, but it didn't work out in all cases. Especially because we had to deal with so many different builders, and well, time was also of concern, and we needed to sort these levels. In fact, if you don't mind, I could give a little history of this community campaign?
Go for it.
How it came to be?
All I have to say about this
Well,
level is that it's another one that sucks to speedrun.
Oh yeah, as you will see, but yeah, you can visually see how annoying some of these parts are with the cycles and all the jabbers chasing you. But in 2022, in our little community, the Levelhead community, somebody suggested making a community effort for a new custom campaign, and it turned out that many people were interested in the idea, and so we did some planning. People volunteered, and it was there was some hype, but turns out, yeah, things didn't go as planned because almost everyone, including me, who participated, overestimated themselves, and so it was stuck in development hell for a little while, and ended up taking 9 months to finish these 52 levels. And well, now in the end, it's still far from perfect for those reasons, but we're still very proud of it. It was a big project, and I'm mostly happy with it, how it turned
The fact
out.
that it came out at all already makes it more impressive than a lot of projects.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider the small size of our community, it's I wouldn't call it a miracle, but still remarkable that all these different builders, even some older builders, I mean, veteran builders who partly had already stopped playing the game, yeah, came together and did something together.
Also, that last level is a flow art level. We joke that every flow art level is a hold right level. So, yeah, easy level. Now, flow art makes a bunch of like light Kaizo levels that are always very, very readable, but still very satisfying to play. Which is why we joke that they're hold right levels, because they're very, very doable, no matter what your skill level is.
Yeah, Flower mastered that craft, and it shows in his follower and play number of play counts.
He's the most popular
know what I
builder in the
mean.
game for a reason, by the numbers, not even
Basically.
like subjective metrics. Because the game does keep track of play stats for all the levels and the creators.
It does. It also has a marketing or exposure system which allows level builders to get more exposure for their levels if in turn they play other people's levels in the marketing department, which means the levels that are freshly built, usually.
Yeah, that is that. Every time I finish a level, that is that number you see in the top right. That is my number of exposure bucks. I have a lot.
But you still get exposure bucks for these levels, even though they have graduated?
Yeah, you get twice as much exposure bucks if a level's in the marketing department versus in the tower, but you still get exposure bucks, even if they're in the tower.
Oh. Yeah, I've never been paying attention to that. I just assumed you don't get any if the levels have already graduated.
Yeah. As you can see, I have played a lot of Levelhead over the years because, for example, in order to get a level into the tower, on average, it takes like 15 to 20,000 exposure bucks to get a level to the top of the marketing department. So that's like the amount of money to shoot for. I have 1.4 million. So
yeah, I would have if I would have, I think, about 3 million if I didn't constantly spend them on other users' levels or my own. But I don't build enough levels to make use of those big sums.
I have also spent a lot over the years, so that 1.4 million is obviously not indicative of how much I've ever had.
But yeah, these exposure bucks are a great virtual currency. You can't buy anything with them, and they also cannot be bought. You just have.
You literally pay people an exposure.
in Levelhead.
Yes.
So this is the first real Kaizo level, I would call it. It's not exactly light Kaizo, and yeah, it's also another difficulty spike that I personally try to mitigate, but well, I've done all I could without completely messing up the level and the creator's intention. So
Yeah, in case it wasn't clear, by the way, Maoi here was the lead coordinator for the community campaign.
yes, I was.
So when he talks about like trying to do things for the campaign, like he was the head coordinator for it. So like he was involved with most steps of the process of making this thing.
Yeah. Thank you for achieving my goal of staying modest. I was in charge of most of the organization, and I tested and played every level together with some more volunteers, and I also put them inside the mod that was created for the desktop, I mean the PC version of this community campaign.
Also, this
And I
is the
built
second
3 of the
boss
levels.
fight of the campaign. This is probably my least favorite boss fight.
Yeah, for a good reason.
Yeah. Basically,
is,
it's just a massive like string of enemies and then some platforming, and none of it has any checkpoints. So if you mess up a single time, you have to redo the entire thing.
Well, the intended way to stay safe and hopefully not lose all of your progress here, if by getting kicked off the tower, is to use your shade rune as a safety. What's it called? Yeah, for safety, to teleport you back on top of the tower in case you fall down.
Yeah, but there's only
It's-
so much that can save you from, unfortunately.
It's a shade brawler, and it doesn't help that some of the jabbers appear on screen very quickly. And yeah, that has caused
Yeah,
some
And the mechanisms for this level are
frustrating
also
deaths for mess.
not 100%
Sorry.
foolproof, so they can get a little finicky, which can mess you up sometimes.
Yeah, I know too, because I've tried speedrunning this campaign as well, and this is pretty much the only levels that the only level that makes me sweat, because I can't consistently beat it, and there's a lot to lose if you yeah, die once during the battle.
Yeah.
But you managed to pull it off first try. Nice. Now we're looking at one of the new, tech that is unintended by the developers, which is called the super jump. You throw up the package and you can jump off of it in the air, but only if it's moving downwards, if it's falling, for some reason. And you can throw it up or diagonally, and this level in particular introduces the player to this new technique.
Yeah, so the fact that the community campaign has a level introducing it here means that it will be required moving forward for a lot of levels. So now that we have this new tool, we put it in our tool belt and then we use it regularly. Before this point, I did use super jumps occasionally here and there, and that was entirely just to go faster or to cheese things. From this point onward, a lot of the times I use it, it will actually just be required outright.
Yeah. The chapter 3, which we are in now, is the package, the super jump chapter. Chapter 2 actually was the shade chapter, and this is now focusing on the super jump. And in chapter 4 we'll have a whole lot of many things. But yeah, you can also use, as you can see, you can use the package to move over spikes or stand on top of spikes, because the package is so robust, it will never break from any enemy or spike.
Alright. I like this level a lot. This is a fun level. But it is also a difficult level because it is long and has a lot of tricky sections. Some of which I will be cheesing, some of which I will not be.
Yeah, I'm curious if I'm gonna see some new cheese right here. I mean, coming up.
Oh, come on. Yeah, this is the thing with
can't
super jumps,
okay.
is they're, once you know what you're doing, they're not that difficult, but it's still very easy to just ever so slightly mess up the timing and mess them up. And sometimes it's not that big a deal, sometimes it means you die.
Yeah, I personally still cannot do them very consistently. Like, I have an 80% chance, but that's my estimate, at least.
Yeah, but you miss 100% of the super jumps you don't
I-
attempt.
True.
Alright, but yeah, we also could just skip this entire last section with a well-placed bomb.
And make sure not to hit the goal at the top, because then you would lose valuable milliseconds.
Yes. So yeah, a interesting
Because of
little
an animation.
quirk with this game where it has nothing to do with like if you were speedrunning a level on its own, because it doesn't affect the in-game time, but when you're doing campaign runs such as this or in the regular campaign, when you hit the goal at the end, the height that you hit the goal at matters, because if you hit the goal higher up, it plays a longer animation at the end of the level. So you want to hit the goal as low down as possible. The difference between a minimum dunk and a maximum dunk, as they're called, is a maximum dunk is about a full second longer than a minimum dunk. So I will be attempting to hit the bottom of the goal whenever I can.
To save those precious milliseconds that you have lost, because that you sometimes lose because you are simply too fast and get a new record, and then a new animation plays on the end screen.
Yes. Yeah, so there is some time save stuff that is not even involved in the actual levels themselves, which is fun.
And it only applies to the web level version of this community campaign, which is why on speedrun.com on the leaderboards there are two different categories for speedrunning the mod version, the offline version, and the mod version, aka the offline version, and the online version, aka the published levels.
Yeah, because
which we're seeing here.
Because the mod version also has the map, you do travel between each of the levels on that map, which also takes time that you don't have to worry about if you were to play the online levels like this. So they're not like huge differences, but they're subtle enough that we're just like, we don't feel like figuring out what the actual like time differences and all of this stuff. We'll just separate them.
We haven't explained Ripcord yet, right?
I don't.
This
It's only
is
shown up
the-
like once or twice, so yeah.
Yeah, I think only once. This is the Ripcord power-up. It's a bit of like a jet, and it can accelerate you upwards. And you can carefully manage that fuel and replenish it with those recycler symbols floating in the air.
Yeah, so basically, you have a limited amount of fuel to boost upwards that you can refuel by either landing on the ground or an enemy, or by picking up a recycler, because recyclers reset everything about your power-up that you currently have. So like you'd be able to fire more shots with the rebound, you'd be able to stay a bush longer with the tiptoe, stuff like that.
Right, and the floor is a good alternative to recyclers.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have mentioned that.
Right, this is another shade, like kind of puzzly level, where it's just like it plays with a lot of the different mechanics of the shade, and it's a pretty fun one.
We would have put it in the shade chapter, or chapter 2, but the tech introduced here is so advanced and it didn't feel right difficulty-wise, so now it's just another part of Chapter 3.
Yeah, I like this level a lot because it has a lot going on. So it's a very tricky level to speedrun, but because of that, there's like a lot of like small time saves all throughout that you can utilize, which makes it pretty fun.
And some puzzling aspects.
Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, well that was the unfortunate death because I just didn't jump correctly.
Oh,
That's fine. It's no fun if I get through every level perfectly. That means I would never be able to beat this run.
what is Life Split saying?
I'm not keeping splits. I don't
You're
keep
not?
splits
Okay.
during marathon runs because then I don't have to worry about splitting every level.
Right,
I can focus on the game and the commentary.
makes sense.
Yeah. Everyone's different when it comes to that stuff. That is just my preference.
As you can see, you can also use the Shade Rune or many other items, carryable items, to just hop over spikes by throwing them down and picking them up again, so you don't have to touch the spikes.
Ah, dang it. Unfortunate that that battery did not make it where it needed to, but that's okay. Alright, but by depositing those 3 batteries, we can go ahead and finish the level.
Nice.
Alright, this is probably my favorite level in the entire community campaign. But it is also a very difficult one. But this level's whole gimmick is that it puts an object called a flingo, which if you grab it, it like launches you towards it, and it puts them in these walls and all of these ceilings, so that if you grab a wall, it just lets you instantly cling to it using the tiptoe power-up, which is a very, very fun gimmick that I don't know if I've seen done as well as it is in this level anywhere else in the game. And if it is out there, I haven't seen it, so because of that, I really like the gimmick of this level, and I think it's a lot of fun.
It also demonstrates really well how in Levelhead you can combine level elements or power-ups to basically create a new mechanic out of them that is something pretty unique. And in this case, it was only done with the tiptoe power-up and those things called flingos moved into walls. And so you lean against the wall and grab the flingo in order to fling yourself upwards. And then you have basically a new mechanic.
Alright, this level is a level focused around the scrub and oculus shells. So basically, those enemies are kind of similar to Koopas from Mario in that they drop a shell when they die, and you can also just give the player the shell on its own. And that shell can also be used to shell jump by throwing it against the wall while jumping against a wall. And it's also used to shell surf, which is where you throw it at a down angle, like a down left or down right angle, depending on what direction you're moving, and it travels along with you, and then you bounce off of it as you keep moving. Which is...
Yeah. It works so well, it's one of my favorite tricks in the whole game. I have never played Mario World or Mario ROM hacks or whatever they are called. I only know that I was told that shell jumps in that game are much less straightforward than they are here. Here you just have to keep moving and throw the shell diagonally, and then you will always hit it because it moves at the exact same speed as the player.
Yeah, the only way you can mess it up is if you just mess up your height and mess up the other obstacles in this level. Which is what happened to me down there.
Yeah, that's what they're there for, to make your job a little Not so easy.
And this is all combined with the Waylay power-up, which is what I have here. Also, that fire was kind of on a bad cycle, and I panicked and messed it up. That's fine.
Oh yeah. Waylay allows you to punch enemies or dash diagonally and horizontally. Depending on if you're on the ground, then it will be horizontally or diagonally up, whichever way you're facing if you're in the air.
But yeah, when we say
complicated to explain.
shell jumps are a lot easier than in Mario. In order to do a shell jump, you literally just hug a wall, jump up, and then throw the shell while you're moving upwards. It is very simple.
Mm.
Also, funny
and
little.
That's also why it feels so good.
Funny little quirk with the bookmark system is that, for some reason, if you like play a full page of levels and then back out, it will sometimes just like glitch out and force you to go back to the first page, and that's why I've had to go back and reset the bookmark page after every bunch of levels, just so that it lets me go to the next page, because it's got a small bug to it that does not affect people in normal circumstances, but specifically does here.
Mm. Well, in all of my time of playing Levelhead, which is about 1.5k hours, I have only encountered, I think, 3 bugs in this game.
Yeah.
So it is still very rare for bugs to occur like this. This one is, at least this one is very consistent.
Yeah. And of those bugs, a lot of them got patched, because there was a bug that caused the game to crash that somebody found at one point that was 100% consistent. Like, you could force it to happen if you wanted to, but that one got patched, so it's not that big a deal. That was a couple years ago at this point. Also, that was the boss of the third section. I kind of just glossed over it.
Yeah.
It is not as easy as I made it look. That went surprisingly well. That one is...
And to everyone who was wondering what that boss is supposed to be, it's actually one of the creators named Noob Jr., who has an avatar that looks very similar to this. And the level itself is an inside joke, because there's a running gag that says follow Noob Jr. And in this level he made himself the boss, like his avatar.
Messed up the last
And
jump.
you have to chase it in a chase sequence. So in this level you basically follow Noob Jr. Yeah, that could have been explained in a more eloquent way, but...
Yeah, it gets the job done.
My bad. Yeah.
This level...
Now we're in chapter 4, the final chapter.
This level
which,
is tricky.
in which... this is where the levels start getting really spicy.
There we
and
go.
tricky.
Yeah, I got that level without any issues when I was doing runs last night, but it did not want to cooperate right now, unfortunately. That's okay. Alright, so this one is a fun one. This is one of my favorite levels to speedrun in the community campaign, because I have found a lot of cheese. Like this right here. Normally you're supposed to do a platforming section to go hit that switch, but you could just do that with the shell instead. And that cuts out that platforming section. I don't know if that's like faster or not, but it's easier and it's a lot funnier, so I like doing it. Also, this section here, I'm gonna not do the way that's intended to do it casually.
Yeah, you don't have to use the collect the slurp juice that slows down time for you.
Yeah, so the way
make it easy.
The way you're supposed to do that section is it gives you a bunch of slurp juice so that you don't do that level at Mach speed, or like that section I mean, because the slurp juice slows down everything. And what that means is it's slow. So if I can avoid it, I want to. But for a while for runs, it was just like doing that part without slowing down is very difficult. So I just took the slurp and took the couple seconds of time loss, but, you know, it's a lot cooler if I don't have to slow down, and it's also faster. So I practiced it a bunch, and now I can do it most of the time. But yeah, this is what I mean by cheesing this level, because we could just go up above this level and just skip everything.
Yeah, I remember discovering a lot of cheese while testing this level. And yeah, I decided to just leave it in for simplicity's sake and because it would make the speedrunners happy.
Unfortunately, the package grab at the end of this level is a little awkward, and I messed it up that first time. There we go. But I like that
Nice.
level a lot. That one's fun. Alright, this level is not easy. It uses a lot of rebound combined with crumbler hops using the package, and then also a lot of just other movement and platforming in general.
Yeah. Almost every level in the later chapters had to be nerfed because our level builders just love to make levels more difficult than they need to be, or than would be appropriate for a campaign like this. So that's why at some parts the difficulty curve is still a bit uneven, and there are some tricky spots, but well, that's the best we could do.
There we go. Okay. Well, I messed it up because I didn't get a good jump off that second enemy. That's unfortunate. Oh well.
Oh no.
That's fine.
Quick respawns.
Also, because I forgot to turn the light on in my room, you've probably just seen me getting darker and darker as the sun sets throughout the run, which is just kind of funny at this point. And so even if the light switch was in arm's reach, I would just leave it as is, because I think this is funny.
The brightness level in your camera will reflect your inner mental state as you progress in this campaign.
Yep, I descend into darkness the further I get in.
Yeah. I can still see you, especially when your screen gets brighter.
Well, that's what matters then.
Also, you have a cool, colorful effect. Like the light in your room will correspond to the colors seen in the game.
Yeah, that's what I meant to do.
This level,
Definitely.
this current level is infamous because it has also been built by an infamous level maker named Saltbearer, and he chose to incorporate the bumper super jump tech, which combines a super jump with one of those bumper elements here, and it is it takes a while to learn that. And because it's so difficult, this level now serves as a shortcut, so you can skip some other long levels in Chapter 4. So if you manage to do this difficult level as well as flawlessly as IllegallySam just did, then you will
Big quotes around
get
flawlessly.
to move on to the final level. Yeah, basically flawlessly. Flawlessly in my mind. I can do it better than that.
Alright, but this is the second to last level of the campaign, and as a result, this is kind of like a big, like, medley sort of level.
Really?
Yeah,
Tell me more.
I wonder who could have made this one.
Yeah, I made this final level because I knew I wanted to give some kind of homage to all the other great creators who participated in this community campaign and built some levels. So every single section references one or two or more levels that you have encountered in the campaign in the first 3 chapters. The lore behind this level, which almost nobody picks up on, I guess, is that here you're infiltrating some kind of alien base, and you enter a a simulation machine, which makes you simulates the rest of the chapters you have seen, but in more difficult ways. for whatever reason.
Yeah, so because this is the second to last level of the campaign, it's just going to be a lot of difficult platforming. If you got anything to say as the host, now's a great time for it.
Well, thank you very much. We are here to raise money for Blue Path Service Dogs. This is an organization that provides autism service dogs, offering safety, companionship, and opportunities for independence. Their vision is to be the definitive leader in autism service dog provision, transforming the lives of individuals, families, and communities. And what we're doing here today is to raise money. So we do have a bid war for the, I think it's not the next run, but 2 runs from now, Windblown. And we can influence with our donations. The top 3 choices will be the leapers that will be played for the upcoming Windblown run. So we have an assortment of critters to choose from, and make sure you vote for one that bid war when you get your donation in. And an additional milestone, we have a bonus game that the Multithon staff is going to be playing Plate Up. So if you like chaos and shenanigans, let's work to hit that milestone so we can get that bonus game in.
I like shenanigans. This game is made by Butterscotch Shenanigans, so by default I kind of have to.
Yeah. I also love the game Plate Up. I can recommend it.
Right.
It's a really cool game.
Time for the final section here. This is just a massive platforming gauntlet that is very difficult, and I almost never get first try.
It's basically chapter 3 of the campaign. Most levels from there you'll see here again referenced. And there's no checkpoint in between, so it's supposed to be the final stretch or gauntlet, as you just called it, right?
Yes.
I'll let you focus on it.
Yeah, it's like no individual section in this part of the level is like that bad. It's just, you know, doing it all in quick succession without messing any of it up is tricky. Thankfully, the intro part is the hardest part, so if you can get past that, it's not free, but it's a lot easier after that point at the very least.
Yeah, that was my intention. So first, to get if you just have to do the tricky thing, you can respawn quickly to do it again.
Right, now it's time.
I mean, practice it.
The final boss. This boss has 4 phases. Yeah. Each of the 4 phases will feature different gameplay. 1 and 3 are kind of similar in terms of what you have to do, and 2 and 4 are kind of similar in that 1 and 3 are just survive to the end of the phase, while 2 and 4 are you have to damage the boss in order to continue. Alright, I keep misspacing my zips.
Yeah, and this level was built by 3 of our best contraption creators in the Levelhead community, and they worked really hard to make these 4 different phases, combine them into a single level, and try to keep the frame rate high enough for it to be playable on, for example, Nintendo Switch. There had to be a lot of testing and optimization, but I think it was definitely worth it. It's one highlight of this campaign, and really shows all the things that are possible just with the tools you are given by the Levelhead workshop editor, or level editor, I should say.
Alright, I keep getting really bad RNG with these homing shots where they just keep spawning at the worst possible times.
I noticed.
Like, as long as you have the time to prepare and dodge them, they're not that bad, but they just keep spawning at literally like the only time I can't dodge them.
Unfortunately, there's some RNG right here, if you go very fast.
I mean, there's RNG no matter what. It's just a matter of how much that RNG matters.
Exactly. The faster you go, the more it will matter. In phase 4 as well.
Yeah, phase 4
was not.
is my least favorite for a reason, and that is mostly because of RNG.
Yeah, because it was not designed to be finished quickly. If you speedrun it, if you go as fast as possible, you're going so fast that you usually don't have the reflexes to react to what is happening. It's like trying to dodge rain at high speed.
Alright, unfortunately, I call it a hunch. I don't think I'm setting a new best time on this level. Because this phase 2 normally goes better than this, but I've been getting some really bad RNG.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's okay. What's not okay is me messing up an easy-to-dodge attack. I can't blame the game on that one. That's my fault. That's what's really unfortunate, is that I can't blame anybody.
You can blame me. Just blame me.
Oh, don't worry. I already was.
I'm willing to take the
Alright.
what's the phrase? I forgot. Take the blame.
Take the fall.
Yeah, take the fall, exactly. Whoa.
Alright, finally made it to the second half and then immediately messed up because I fired in the wrong direction and because I thought I was facing the other direction. Cool. Alright, that was my own fault.
Oh,
Can't
boy.
blame the game for that one, but I'm still annoyed. I thought I was facing the other direction and that's why I got confused and messed up. I need to just start taking this section slowly if I'm not going to get through it quickly. It's unfortunate. When I was doing runs and practice last night, I got this section like first try every time.
It's strange how sometimes certain parts feel easier and then they don't anymore.
But that's okay. It happens.
The consistency itself is not consistent.
Yeah, it's very interesting. This boss is giving like kind of Mega Man vibes with like more bullet hell going on. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate this in particular really is showing like how much can be going on and like just the incredible amount of dodging and keeping track of a lot of projectiles on screen while also trying to hit, you know, a pretty precise target.
Yeah, exactly. Before you start fighting this final boss, there's actually an intro cutscene, but there's for speedruns it can be skipped, which is why we didn't get to see it. We only saw the kind of statue there, and that was a Super Metroid reference, or Metroid in general, I guess. Where the statue, the Chozo statue, starts walking and attacking you.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Alright, I am very annoyed at my performance on this final level. This is not good, and I am very disappointed that it is not going well.
Yeah. Those
Yeah, even
there are a lot of things moving at the same time, and you have to. The faster you go, the less you can be prepared to dodge them. But I also know what it's like to when you start, when you mess up once or twice, and then kind of get out of your own rhythm and keep mess up on the seemingly simplest parts.
yeah, like at this point, it's not even I am messing up because of my rhythm. It's just I half of it is bad RNG and half of it is just I'm making bad mistakes because of stuff happening. It's like, it's not even like a rhythm thing. It's just I am just straight up making the mistakes, which is very unfortunate. It's like, even when I was practicing last night, even my worst run of this level was done like 2 or 3 minutes ago. But it happens.
Well, maybe I can distract people from you making mistakes here, and instead I could talk about the Levelhead community, if you don't mind.
I mean, real quick, just this,
Oh,
we're
now
finally
we've
on phase
reached
3, so
next phase. I know that those phases are a cinematic experience. Then we need to focus on that.
yeah, this is the funniest phase to me because he just starts chasing you.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear the thud of his
You-
footprints.
This is, yeah, you don't get to see that every day. A huge contraption chasing you from the bottom to the top of the area. And now we're at the final phase.
And if you thought the
And as I
RNG before
mentioned before-
wasn't bad enough, now we've just got random fireballs all over.
Yeah, this one's is not supposed to be speed run.
Got it first try
then
though, so
you're at the
and that's time.
what
That's the phase that gave me a ton of trouble
okay,
last
nice
night.
job.
That is unfortunate that phase 2 went so poorly, but that's the run.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get it
Okay.
first try. Otherwise, would have given more prep time with time. Oh, game
I
crash.
mean, I saw first try the whole way through. That was just incredible from my perspective. GG's for
Yeah,
sure.
we're talking about how few bugs this game has. The game just crashed. That doesn't happen very often, as in I can count on one hand the amount of times this game has crashed in a way that I don't know what happened.
You can't be serious.
So everyone gets to hear the intro of the game while I boot it back up, and we can move on to some user levels that I will be able to showcase beyond the community campaign any percent run.
Yeah. Maybe the bug was the reason why you were struggling with that phase 2.
Yeah,
so
I'll
much.
just say the game was trying to crash, and because I wasn't finishing the level, it wasn't able to, so it was just messing me up more.
Yeah, it cannot be a coincidence.
Alright. So, yeah, as I go and show off a handful extra levels, we could just go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So these first couple of levels are a couple extra community campaign levels that are not part of the any percent run, for one reason or another, mostly just because they're not on the direct path. But I want to show them off anyway, because I think they're cool. This first one, I don't know why, but for some reason the game just doesn't show me Dark Doom's name. But I like this level because Dark Doom is a master at making cool animations using the various things in the Levelhead editor. This level showcases that because we got a man chasing after us.
Yeah, a man made of spike.
Yes. So I just think that's just a funny animation. The level's not too hard, it's a pretty short one, but I wanted to show that off.
Yeah, so while the main campaign path that Sam has been playing up until this point, it does show off some custom shenanigans that you can do, but here for those upcoming levels, the bonus levels as we call them, or optional levels, those really show off what's possible with Levelhead. The only thing that we didn't manage to put into this campaign was a troll level. There are a lot of great troll user levels right there, even one in the official campaign. But yeah, as you can see, you can make mini games, shooting games, like what you're watching on screen right now. You can also make your own background music or music boxes. There are note blocks called boom boxes in this game, and you can instruct them what notes to play at which tempo, what time, what pitch or volume, and even some percussion. And we I could also mention to make level creation, to make the creation of such complex levels easier. Somebody from the Levelhead community has also created a tool to work with Levelhead files, data, and rearrange large parts in your levels, and do batch edits and even scripting. So the possibilities are not endless, but kinda endless.
They are vast. All right,
They
so
are vast enough.
this
yeah.
level here is, if you remember, Mayo mentioned a while ago that Bump Up the Mushroom was kind of like a shortcut level, because there is one path during the campaign where you can actually choose whether to go one way or the other, and you don't have to do both of them. This level is on the other side of that path, and as you can see, it's about as long as Bump Up the Mushroom was. But there's also a second level on that path, so it is demonstrably slower than just doing Bump Up the Mushroom on its own, and it's also a completely different skill set, and I just think this is a cool level, so I wanted to try showing it off. I'm a little bit less practiced on this level, and it is a difficult one than the regular campaign, so I will bail out and not clear it if it takes too long, so that we can just, keep things rolling, show off some extra levels. But I do want to try and clear this if I can, because I just think it's a cool platforming level.
Here we see some more new tech called flapsack ceiling super jumps. I think that's the name, right?
Close enough.
Is it the...
I don't,
Close enough.
it's
Okay,
it's just a ceiling super jump using flap sacks instead of the package,
flapsack.
so it's not like a super
That's it,
unique
ceiling
tech, but
super
it is technically unique.
Unique tech, technically unique, yeah.
All right, and this middle section is just a bunch of tight shell jumps, while also doing some tiptoe platforming along the way. All right, made it to the
Gotta
last
love
part.
tiptoe.
Alright, so this is using an item called the Blob Sack, which basically gives you reduced gravity while you're holding it. And then it's followed by a little timer challenge where you gotta make it back with a different segment of, the saw blades are all moved around, and you gotta make it back, but this time without the Blob Sack. And you gotta make it before the timer runs out. Yeah, the Blob Sack is a very underutilized level or item in user levels, in my opinion. It is a lot of fun to play with, but it's also not easy to make levels around, which is why not too many people have utilized it.
And it takes a while to get used to it.
All right, there we go.
But yeah, this community campaign does showcase some pretty hard levels. And since it's a precision platformer, for some people it might be, the controls might be a bit much to handle. But everyone can also make easy levels. There are a ton of easy and very player-friendly levels that are just easygoing, like kind of like this one, right?
Yeah, so
The one you're playing right
we
now?
mentioned a little while ago that you can make custom music for your levels. So a lot of these upcoming levels are going to just be regular community levels, not involved in the community campaign, but they have custom music, which makes them cool.
Yeah.
Bonus points if people know what the music is. I will say it if it's not clear at the end of each level, though. But try to guess before then.
Isn't it? Can I take a guess?
I mean, do you know it or not?
I don't. I can even hear it.
Oh.
But I remember you talking about it on one of your other streams. Showcase streams. the Passion Project thing, I think. There you also showcased user levels. And wasn't it from Mega Man, or was it?
No, this
was
one
it
this one
something
is
else?
not Mega Man. As a spoiler, there
But
is a Mega Man
it's
one
another
later.
game. It's another game, right?
Yes, this is from Super Meat Boy.
Oh.
Alright, now it's time for the next one.
Danny Baranowski. Danny Baranowski is the composer of that game, I think.
Yes, he is. Well, at least the original soundtrack for it, because it has not the same soundtrack anymore, kind of. It's a weird thing. I'm not going to get into it. Alright, but this level, both the level and the music is, like, the level's inspired by the game that the music is from, so even if you don't know the song, you might be able to tell from the gameplay. But this level has a cool gimmick where if you hit a purge gate, which removes the power-up that you have, while you're using the ripcord, it gives you a bunch of speed in the direction that you're moving. And that's something that this level makes use of to make some interesting platforming challenges where you, like, jump between these tubes, essentially. But this is also this is the hard version of the level. There are easier versions of it. And yeah, this as the hard version of this level, it is hard. So I will not be getting it perfectly on my first try. Alright. I
like those moving tendrils, tentacles.
Yeah. No, this is a really cool level. I always like showing it off whenever I have the chance. Because in addition to the song being really good, I also just think the level is really fun on its own. But yeah, Specchio did a really good job of recreating the music here as well.
Wait, this one also has custom music?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, almost every level I'll be showing off from here on
know
out will have custom music. Except for one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm watching the stream with sound off because I don't want to hear you twice and potentially myself.
Alright, this last section is tricky. Dang. Okay. I did not get it first try. That's okay. I did practice this level a little bit last night, but this last section always kicks my butt no matter how much I practice it. Alright, I will give it until the 3-minute mark in-game, and then I'll move on to the next level so that I'm not spending too long on any one level, though.
Yeah, I would prioritize seeing other levels over.
Thankfully, that's we don't have to worry about
but
it.
It looks like you've got it. Nice.
Okay, that was from Echo the Dolphin, by the way.
I've heard about that game.
Yeah. Alright, now this is another music level. I will once again tell you what it's from at the end. But you might even be able to tell just from the gameplay.
This one is Mega Man, isn't it?
Like I said, you can tell from the gameplay.
It looks like Mega Man to me. I've never played Mega Man, but I've seen some footage.
Yeah, I don't remember what Mega Man game it is specifically, but I think this is Fireman's stage and theme. I think it is.
Oh.
Which, you know, makes sense given the fire theming.
True.
Full disclosure, I also have not played Mega Man. It is on my very long list of games to play.
Those games have always, I mean, the older games at least have looked very clunky to me, if you know what I mean. The controls and...
Yeah, I mean, the old ones are on the NES, which is not everyone's cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have armor. Okay, well, I was doing this earlier. I had armor here so I could cheese things easier. That's fine. means I have to actually do this part legitimately.
So, I hope these intricate, complicated music levels with custom mechanics gave our viewers a lasting impression of what is possible in this game. And maybe pique your interest. Maybe you want to join our small community of Levelheads too. In fact, next month is going to be our 5-year anniversary, and we're still for this event we're gonna make a small mini campaign of 10 levels. So our community is still active despite the small size, and there are still weekly events called power builds where we build levels with the same theme. I mean, a particular theme for every weekend. And yeah.
Also,
And
this is
we
the
have
one
fun
level
at the
that is
game.
not a music level, because this is just Punch-Out. No extra music or anything, it's just a minigame level, but, you know, it's Punch-Out.
What other games have we seen recreated in this in Levelhead?
A lot of them.
There's Punch-Out, Breakout, Snake.
Yeah, Snake's in there for sure.
Snake's in there. With a ton of switches and complicated stuff.
Tetris would be possible
Um,
if there was more channels to the Switch system, but 1,000 channels in the Switch system was not enough to make Tetris, unfortunately.
Yeah, the low frame rate would also be a hindrance.
The frame rate wasn't even the reason why it wasn't possible, though. That had nothing to do with it.
Okay. Right.
It was just literally the Switch logic for this game is not complex enough for Tetris.
Also, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was completely remade in Levelhead.
Mario Land 1.
Super Mario Land 1, I forgot who made that.
It may or
but
may
it
not
was
be
also
somebody
fully
currently
remade.
talking that is not me. Right, this is one of my favorite music levels to show off. This one's just really cool. Where it makes use of one-tick enclosures to make like these semi-transparent wall tiles. While also being like a brawler level where you have to kill a bunch of enemies, and also having good music. Alright, that one was a little scary, but it gives you this level gives you enough armor that's not like too concerning that you're gonna die at some point if you're not careful. But this level also has a boss, and it has a health bar that fills up when you get to the arena, which I really like. As it rises out of the ground.
Once again, very cinematic.
And then the music kicks up
in my opinion.
as you get to the boss fight as well.
Is this boss fight a reference to a different game?
I have no idea. I don't know if the boss fight specifically is, but I know the music is from a game. But yeah, basically just every single enemy you kill ticks the health bar down by 1 pip. So you just gotta get the health bar drained all the way, and you beat the level.
By the way, I just realized that because I am watching the stream on a different, like on a restream, I couldn't see any of the chat messages until now. Now I've opened the regular Multithon stream channel and can read the chat messages. So in case anyone has a question about the game, feel free to ask.
Also, I am not familiar with the song itself, but I have been told that that last level has music from Doom in it. Also, I'm sure you could probably guess what this level's music is from, just based on the level title alone of Cursed Clock Tower.
I already know.
Yep, exactly. But also, I am getting close to the 20-minute time that I have been allotted for the showcase, so I will cut it off after this level. Because I could keep showing levels off from this game for literally all of time. So I will cut myself off as we get close to that 20-minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this level, it's just a giant clock tower. It nails the aesthetics. The music's also really good because it has 2 songs even, because it had that one. It switched in the song, like the song that was playing when you enter the clock tower. And it also has these custom enemies with these Blockfush fireballs.
Are these custom enemies called wall chickens, perchance?
I think they're closer to Medusa heads, but...
Oh, right, yeah. Now I remember what they look like in the original game. Because someone in the chat asked, are there any wall chickens?
Unfortunately, no, but there are a lot of gems
supposed to mean.
all throughout the level to collect. It would be really funny if just one wall had, like, you could break the wall and it would give you a piece of armor, though. Right, this section's a little tricky depending on the cycle that the enemy is on. Okay, that's fine. Alright, this enemy is just not being nice to me. That's fine. They have no obligation to be nice to me.
They would probably be nicer if you met them at the top of that part. So you can predict where they will move.
That's no fun. This is still a speedrun marathon at the end of the day. I gotta try and go a little fast.
Right. And I was explicitly asked to backseat Sam.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I was already doing that.
Also, in case you didn't notice, along the left side of the right side of the screen is just the package being shuttled up the clock tower using moving platforms.
Collecting gems.
Exactly.
Those juicy gems.
Alright, this part...
I'm going to jump in here real quick because we've got a $10 donation from Mojo. No comment, but they put it towards the windblown character choice of, I'm going to say, a Toxel. They're these cute little salamanders. I've been reading about them in the background.
Yeah.
Just incredible cuties. And so, definitely opportunity to, help boost their chance of being in the top 3 or throw down on one of the other choices with a donation of your own.
And then, yeah, we can, like I said, we're gonna cut it off there so I don't go too far over time or anything. But yeah, that is just a small smattering of user levels from Levelhead that go beyond the community campaign. Like I said, I could literally just keep going with this all day, so stop in there, and yeah. So hopefully you had a good time watching some Levelhead here today. Thanks to Multithon for letting me probably ruin the schedule for the rest of the day, but that's all the good fun of it all. But yeah, if you want to see more of me, you can find me over on twitch.tv/IllegallySam. If you want to see more Levelhead, the game is available on almost all platforms that are not PlayStation. And, the community is still active to this day, so if that does interest you, feel free to check us out. If you've got anything you want to say, Maoi.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say at this point. Thank you, Sam, for doing another great run of the community campaign.
It was definitely a run. Great's a strong word.
It was a run indeed, yeah. Still, it was you were faster than my last run, I'm pretty sure.
All right. But yeah, I think that's about it for us. So thanks for having us, and see you around, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, thanks to you both. Definitely a incredible showcase of a very fun looking game. Those sort of platformers are always not necessarily in my wheelhouse, but I do enjoy like watching them, and it was just a joy to watch and execute.
Cool.
So there's something going on next. Before I get to that, definitely while we're here, Multithon 2025 to raise money for Blue Path Service Dogs. This is a charity that provides service animals to autistic individuals. Multithon focuses on co-op runs, races, games with multiple protagonists or helper characters, led by the belief that we are better and faster together. We do have our next milestone. If we can hit that $3,500 amount, and I really know that we can, we will get to see Plate Up with some of the Multithon staff. And we did have some action on that bid war. We have a selection of 6 different critters. The top 3 will be our leapers in the upcoming Windblown run.